really did look as if it was struggling until the last 50 yards when it got up and beat El Capitan. Looked very strong on the line, which suggests the 1400 here is going to suit ideally. I'm going to give Pillaging some chance, although he again went to Sydney, wasn't up to the Sydney slipper class. They've brought him back to Melbourne, and I just believe it's a little bit of patch-up stuff. That's why I'm going for Milkshake, because he's had the perfect prep for this race. Good race, value. Number 10, Air of Grace, showing about $20 longer on the tote as opposed to on course. And just remember, Victory Vane did win earlier. This horse has finished 3.5 lengths and 5.5 lengths respectively behind it, running on. That is the key word, running on. Might be the value in the race. Good race, one ahead of 3, 6 and 2, John.
Right, Alf, thank you. Good to see the pictures from Flemington, because we're not getting any from the Rosehill Gardens track, where there's been a fire in the generating room, cutting out all power. Peter Mertens rides Milkshake in the VRC Sires Produce Stakes. Here he is with Alf.
Well, can Milkshake step up to this class, or in fact, is it a step up in class, Peter?
Oh, I think you probably could say it was a step up in class, although his win in Adelaide was quite fanatic, and the form from the race, you know, with the Hayes horse going to Perth and winning easily, sort of, you know, helps it.
Yeah, it certainly does. I think he's got a great chance. Tears Raw was very impressive last start.
Yeah, I had to run second to it. He made a bit of a long run on it. I thought I had him, but yeah, it was a good, tough win, backing up, of course. Hopefully it hasn't taken no ill effect from the run, and if it hasn't, it's drawn well and it's weighted well. So. And
Zodiac Star, it ran a nice race first up at Caulfield.
Yeah, I didn't see it. I spoke to Mick Price this morning and just was worried we were about the speed, where the pace would be and which way they'd go with the track, so we couldn't set to any kind of plan. So it's sort of virtually going to be, by the looks of that last race, come to the outside and probably end up third, fourth, and then try and hit the line hard.
An open race, the last year ride Ballesteros. Has it got any hope?
Oh, look, I think it just nothing worked out for it last start. Its previous form was nice, although it went up in class last start and fanned it out a touch. But I think if it's, you know, if we get a nice enough run in the race, it might hit the line better than it did last start.
Okay, mate, good luck.
Thanks, Ace.
There he is, Peter Mertens, and he thinks Milkshake is a slight step up in class.
Milkshake third pick at $5.10 behind Delago Brom $3.10 and Pillaging $3.20. 304,000 in the pool for the Group 1 Sires Produce. Now, Cheltenham, we've got the interim divs, 842, Classic Status $14 and $2.80, Cullen Bay $170, Prince Raja $140, Quinella $33.50, Trifecta $326. Now, we have got correct weight through from Rosehill Gardens on the Mannion, Manor Hill $19.30 and $5.50, Plea $5.90, Rapida $3.20. Quinella 192 even, Exacta 272, Trifecta 3,136. Here are the Sky ratings on...
Next. Favourite on track is Pillaging, and also now on the tote. It's just taken over. On track, Delago Brom, open favourite ahead of Pillaging, but Delago Brom has continued to ease. Money has come for the 2, and it's going to run the popular 1. Fubu 2 moving up into the line now. Milkshake is the third favourite. It's been fairly steady through betting, and there hasn't been much action at all amongst those outside of the top 3. Webster is the next in the market. Now Fuji Dancer's coming up into the line. About 5 to move along. Previous race won in good style by O Temptation, having just its second outing for Brett Kavanagh, formerly trained by Max Lees. Now step ahead, moves up into the gates. Here's Delago Brom, getting ready for Stephen Arnold, not far away from a start in the Group 1. Air of Grace to come in. Hasn't been a good race for fillies in the last 20 odd years, just 3 of them winning. Preserve in 2000, the most recent of them. Now, here's our Webster coming up for Dan Nikolic. Dan won on My Duke in 94. So our Webster ready. And the field is set for the VRC Sires. 1400. All clear. Racing in the Sires. And Pillaging was the first to bound out of the stalls. Russ got away well and is booting through to try and go to the lead. Tom Caruso settling up on the pace in third place, and they're followed wide out by Our Webster. Just behind them, Milkshake settling on the rails, followed by Peace Ruler. Also just behind those horses is Delago Brom, and then a gap of about 2 lengths further back to Fuji Dancer, Air of Grace, Step Ahead, and Fubu 2. Fairly tightly bunched, and Tom Caruso goes to the lead about a neck to Rust, and Pillaging is up in third placing as they go by the 800. Next Hour Webster trapped out wide. 1 further back, Peace Ruler, also 3 deep. Delago Brom in the centre, Milkshake on the rail. Then Step Ahead being trailed then by Air of Grace wide out, and then Fuji Dancer, and through on the inside of it, Fubu 2. Tom Caruso came round the turn in the size, leading narrowly from Our Webster and Pillaging, handy enough in the green colours, and then Rust. Milkshake trying to get into the clear, got balked for a run. Delago Brom's making some ground. Tom Caruso at the 400 is being tackled by Pillaging, and now Delago Brom is into the clear, 3 lengths away, followed further back by Air of Grace and Step Ahead, but Pillaging shot to the lead at the 200 metre mark, opened up a quick gap of about 2 lengths on Tom Caruso, and then Delago Brom, but Pillaging's racing away past the 100 metre mark, 4 lengths in front. It is going to walk in the size. Pillaging and Patrick Payne is right up, very impressive, beating Delago Brom and Tom Caruso. A gap to Step Ahead, followed in then by Fuji Dancer, Rust, a next Air of Grace, a long break to Milkshake, Peace Ruler, and back towards the tail end of the field in the size, Fubu 2 and Our Webster. That's one of the most impressive size wins we've seen for a long time. Number 2, Pillaging, giving Patrick Payne his second straight victory. He won on Spectatorial last year, and this has absolutely cruised in to pay $270 and $130. Delago Brom second, the form holding up directly from the Blue Diamond Stakes. These horses running 3rd and 4th in the Diamond. Delago Brom second, Stephen Arnold and Tommy Hughes, and 3rd place in going to number 5, Tom Caruso, who also came through the Blue Diamond. They were the 3 Blue Diamond runners, and they've run 1st, 2nd and 3rd. Tom Caruso, Nash, Ruilla. 2, 3 and 5, and they've run some time even though eased up on the post, 122.2. Well, that was a most comprehensive win. I just wonder now, particularly with Schwarzer being beaten in Sydney, whether Lee could quickly back him up and take him to Sydney. You never know. You never know. It certainly didn't harm this horse today. There is another race, of course, coming up, the sales race that he could be running in. I'm sure he'll be going somewhere. He has just won with such authority today. You'd want to be keeping him going for sure. 2-3 as race number 5 today.
Yes, Greg, that horse was absolutely cantering on the turn into the straight. Here's Alf Matthews with Michael Fried. We have the news from Rosehill that the generator, the principal generator at Rosehill Gardens, actually exploded. And eyewitnesses stated that flames licked 50-odd feet into the air. They have the fire under control, apparently. They are desperately trying to get auxiliary power up and running, which will give them at least the photo finish apparatus and limited lighting throughout the course. They are desperate to continue because of the importance of races like the George Ryder and the Rosehill Guineas, which are lead-ups to the forthcoming Doncaster and AJC Derby. And if those races aren't run today, if they have to be postponed even till the middle of next week, it's going to throw the training routines into complete chaos. I know that owners and trainers will be absolutely horrified should that happen. So they're desperately trying to get auxiliary power up and going at Rosehill Gardens and finish this meeting off if they can. It is interesting to note that there's a Sydney Turf Club meeting programmed for next Wednesday at Canterbury. So I guess if worst comes to the worst, they could possibly run the George Ryder and the Rosehill Guineas on Wednesday as an addendum to the Canterbury meeting, and they might even consider switching it to the Rosehill track. But this is all speculation on my part, speculation on everybody's part at this stage, because if you'll excuse a very weak pun, we're in the dark. Now, Eagle Farm, race 4, is less than a minute away. Welcome back, and there's the big crowd at Flemington enjoying the autumn sunshine. And for those who've just tuned in, if you've just arrived home and wonder what's happening as far as Rosehill Gardens is concerned, race 5 delayed due to a power failure with the generator actually blowing up at the back of the racecourse. Apparently smoke and flames went some 50 feet into the air. Nobody hurt as far as we can ascertain, but they're trying to get auxiliary power up and running, at least enough to get the photo finish apparatus working, and there'll be limited lighting only, but possibly it will enable them to get this meeting over, and we're waiting to hear more from the track. Now, Cheltenham Race 5 and top-rated Double Legend. Welcome back. Cheltenham getting close, but before doing anything else, we're heading to Rosehill Gardens, where Ian Craig has an update on an amazing situation there.
Right, John, yes, it is. It's quite incredible. The main generator, unfortunately, has gone up in smoke. The generating box is down at the back of the racecourse near the railway line, immediately behind the public grandstand. It's thrown the whole racecourse into chaos, confusion. The powers that be are working feverishly to try and restore auxiliary power in some form or another. They have been successful because the on-course tote is now operating. The power to the photo finish is important. That hasn't been restored as yet. And also power to the bookmakers' betting boards, the computerised boards, has not been connected, but that is a latter consideration. They will revert manually to the betting, the bookies, if need be. So in the nitty-gritty, all races are back one race. So in actual fact, the fifth event of the day, which is the Sky High Stakes, will now start at 4 o'clock, and all races back a race with the final event scheduled for 6 p.m. Eastern Daylight Saving Time. Well, Rosehill is an incredible racecourse. We've seen, and John will certainly vouch for this, some incredible happenings, but I've never seen a situation on a major race day. We've had the generating system at Canterbury play up on a couple of occasions, but unfortunately for the club, through no fault of its own, in some freakish way, the generating box has caught alight, and hence chaos has subsequently reigned. Hopefully things will be rectified, and with a small amount of auxiliary power, the meeting will continue and all races back one race. That's the latest from the Gardens.
Thanks, Ian. Thank you for that. It's bad enough that this should happen on Rosehill Guineas Day. Can you imagine a similar situation had it been Golden Slipper Day, with about 35,000 people in attendance? The other saving grace, of course, is that there have been no injuries as a result of that generator explosion. And as Ian said, chaos reigns supreme at Rosehill at the moment. All races back one race, and the Sky High Stakes will go at 4 o'clock. And the other thing, of course, that will be affected by this is the public address system. So people on course at Rosehill must have been in the dark for a long time. It would have been a word of mouth method by which news spread around the track. Now, Stars in Bars with correct Diesel Will 13, Native Jazz 8:30, Ruthless Tycoon 29, Border Time 29, Rum 36, A Quiver 560, Panoramic Lad 16, Tears Royal 8:40, Burley 44, Saboteur 50, 12 out, Noisseur 25. The horse you can see right now there is Mr. Casanova, Greg Childs 650, Mr. Magoo 8:40, 16 is a scratching, Consular $15, Frere Jacques 63. Market order, favourite A Quiver, just ahead of Mr. Casanova, Native Jazz, Tears Royal and Mr. Magoo. Now, A Quiver is trained by John Hawkes, who was, it was noted, in attendance at Harold Park last night for the running of the grand final of the Inter-Dominion. I don't know that John's necessarily a harness racing lover, but he's a horse lover, and he likes to see the best in any field of racing, and he was out there at Harold Park enjoying the champions in the Inter-Dominion grand final. Good to see him there. Now, Eagle Farm...
At the records, the last 10 years or so, there hasn't been anything draw outside gate number 6. But still, these records can be broken. Tears Royal's moved in. Mr. Murphy's coming up, and Frere Jacques getting set for Karen McAvoy. Time was exceptional in the winning performance of Pillaging. Even his last 200-metre sectional was a lot faster than anything else in the race, and he was eased up. And the records that I've been able to look at in the race book, times go back to 1976, and it was the fastest size in all of that time. Now Burley has moved up into the gates. Neville Wilson in the second set of the Ingham's colours, black with a cerise cap. There's Ruthless Tycoon moving in. Weasel Will tackling the mile. First up is set. Mr. Casanova's moving along with Saboteur on the outside. So they're all in and ready for the Blamey. Group 2, 1,628 metres. Frere Jacques lifted in the air. Mr. Magoo stood well. All clear. Racing. Panoramic Lad jumped well on the inside, so did Border Time, trying to find the lead in company with Mr. Magoo. Tears Royal settling off them in about 5th placing. Going forward as a quiver very quickly, and Mr. Murphy's going with him. They're charging through the first 200 here. It's now on the outside. Mr. Murphy striving for the lead ahead of a quiver in the centre, and Mr. Magoo, the rail, they're really burning early. They've got away about 3 to 4 lengths in front from Mr. Casanova. Border Time. Back behind them, Ruthless Tycoon, as Mr. Murphy finally finds the lead. 3 lengths further back, Tears Royal outside Panoramic Lad, and they're followed by Frere Jacques Consular. The speed has broken the field right up. Next is Weasel Will, Saboteur, Noircia. She's being followed by Rum Native Jazz, and Burley is last of all, at least 20 lengths from the leader. Mr. Murphy in front of a quiver. They've both done some work out there. Mr. Casanova third outside Mr. Magoo. A length and a half further back in the field, it's Ruthless Tycoon racing the outside of Border Time. 2 to Tears Royal. He's being trailed by Panoramic Lad. 1.5 to Consular. Frere Jacques, Weasel Will, Saboteur. Trailed then by Noircia. She's in front of Rum, and then Native Jazz and Burley. They swing for home. Mr. Murphy from a quiver. Mr. Casanova and Ruthless Tycoon is wider out. Mr. Magoo's going for a run on the inside, which presents when he needs it. Tears Royal comes with his run, and wider out is Consular coming home, and then came Weasel Will. 250 to go now. Consular and Tears Royal race up wide out to go to the lead over Ruthless Tycoon and Weasel Will, and next is Rum. Tears Royal broke clear at the 100, out by 2 lengths to Weasel Will, giving chase, but it's Tears Royal in front, and Tears Royal by a half length to Weasel Will. Photo third. Burley's come home well. Close up is Panoramic Lad. They're in a photo with Consular. Ruthless Tycoon, Native Jazz made ground, and further back was Mr. Casanova and Rum, followed by Mr. Magoo, and then Saboteur trailed further back then by a quiver who worked so hard but dropped out. Border Time towards the end with Noircia, Mr. Murphy and Frere Jacques. Tears Royal has won the Group 2 Blamey Stakes. Number 9 to pay $8.50 and $2.70, trained by Grant Dalziel, written by Peter Mertens. Number 9, Tears Royal. Peter Mertens winning the Group 2 Blamey. Second placing, number 2, Weasel Will, Stephen King and Nigel Blackiston, having his first run since the eclipse back in November. And third is a photo finish. It's a ripper.
OK, straight down to the enclosure. Here's Alf Matthews.
It was. What were you thinking going into the race? Where did you think you'd be?
Well, those outside horses were always going to have to go forward, weren't they?
Yeah, true.
So, well, that's why we pay jockeys.
You obviously pay him enough. It was a pretty good ride.
Gun ride, wasn't it? Yeah. So when Ollie rode it last week, and you shop around, and I've always had a good relationship with Pete, so we continue it.
Actually, he's been in outstanding form.
Yeah, no. So's the horse.
Now, this is its biggest win ever.
Yeah, very nice.
What else can he win?
I'll wait till next week. We're going to check the pins, you know, his legs aren't the best, so I'll check him out tonight.
You have had problems with his legs in the past. That's been well documented, but you've obviously got him over that.
Oh, well, I wouldn't say over it, but you know, all his joints need injecting for fluid. He's got no fluid in his joints. He's a very heavy horse, very straight in front. He's got to race in special shoes. Yeah, he's just got problems, you know, he's just one of those horses.
Right, and so is that perhaps because of lack of cartilage in the joints?
No, just more so lack of, he'll end up lack of cartilage because there's no oil there. But yeah, probably just to do with his conformation, the way he uses himself. I suppose he uses a fair bit of friction because he's so straight in front of him.
Now, is this your biggest win?
Yeah, but I had my good horse Ultra Smug, you know. The first ones are the best ones, aren't they?
Yeah, true, they always are.
Very nice, and I half owned him.
Well, hey, congratulations, a job well done.
Thanks, mate.
Grant Dalzell, and he's done a fantastic job with Tears Royal. He's had a lot of problems with it. He's been quite honest in telling us he's injected him and things like that, and it helps to keep them going because it's good to see good horses and good trainers care for them and get the prize.
Good on you, Alf. Yes, he's a stallion, Tears Royal, heavy set, hits the ground pretty hard. The one thing that probably helps him, and I didn't notice until I saw that slow-mo replay, that he has a fairly skimmy action. He doesn't have too much action in front, which reduces the impact a little bit. Now, race 5 at Eagle Farm, the photo finish camera, and just a completely abbreviated power supply around the course, but they're hopeful of getting the meeting on. All races are back. One race, the Sky High Stakes, race 5, yet to be run. That'll be at 4 o'clock, followed by the George Ryder and the Rosehill Guineas, and the last race to commence at 6. Now, Eagle Farm, a minimum. Restless, 9.40. Able Way, 74. Preferred Lies, 9.30. And Halls of Assembly at 21. Swiss Echo's favourite ahead of Cheverny, Grampians, Borelli, Preferred Lies, Restless and Spirit of Westbury. No pictures yet from Rosehill, but we're trying to arrange at least an audio coverage by Ian Craig. In fact, we'll certainly have that. Rest assured, there will be audio of Ian Craig's call. Pictures still up in the air at this stage. 323,000 in the wind pool at Rosehill Gardens. Now, Flemington, correct weight on the Blamey Stakes. Tears Royal, Peter Mertens, 850, 270. Weasel Will, 460, and Consular, 450. Quinella, 71.10. Exacta, 124.90. Trifecta, 2,090. Sky Ratings, Cheltenham. We've got 3 top raters. Oxford Dollar, Dark Banner, Mow It Now, and Imperial Cross is at 97. Mr Selby, 810. Oxford Dollar, 510. Dark Banner, 780. Imperial Cross, 63. News Flash, 640. Bitsky, 68. Pit Boss Kiss, 120. Mow It Now, 17. Tartan Army, 18. You're Joking, 510. Bonza Blue, $20. Jezza Rich, 630. And Winsome Willie at 85. Now, we've been able to contact Wayne Harris at Rosehill by telephone. He can hear me now. Wayne, it must have been absolute chaos out there.
John, it's just unbelievable. Apparently there's a very loud explosion out the back and the power station just blew up. We're standing in an enclosure with a lot of smoke coming out of the top, and you can still smell it here now. So plenty of things can happen on a racetrack.
Late mail on the race coming up, Wayne. How do you see it?
John, yeah, it's a very open affair. I've gone for one Swiss Echo. He's done nothing wrong in recent runs. 2 runs back from the score, been winning runs as well. Goes very well on this track. He's had the 4 runs here for 2 wins, 2 placings. He paraded well. Gay's got a good hand in the race. She's got 3 runners here. I've thrown in as my second choice, number 7, Grampians, a horse from the John Hawkes stable. Darren Bevan to ride. Down in the weights here. Didn't have a great deal of luck in the Canterbury Cup at his last start. A lot of these horses, or a few of these horses, went around in that Canterbury Cup and didn't have a lot of luck. Grampians was one of those. He's a hard, tough customer. He'll try his heart out. So I've thrown him in my numbers. Number 2, Cheverny. He's hasn't got a great record here at the Rosehill track, but he's put in some good runs all the same. He's had 6 starts here, hasn't been able to win a race, but a few nice placings. He runs second in that Canterbury Cup behind Carp Gun, and he looked good in the parade. I was thrown in this, the Kiwi Galloper, the mare number 11, Preferred Lies. She's only had the 1 run here in Australia. She didn't have a great deal of luck in the Canterbury Cup behind Cap Gun the other day. Down in the weights here, I think she's got a definite chance in the race. Bit of talk around to say number 6, Borelli, can run a much improved race here today. Disappointed first up. Just going through his second up form. He's won 3 from 4 and stripped a lot better here today. Barrier 1. I've had to leave him out of my numbers here because I've got numbers 1, 7, 2 and 11. But I did watch on number 6, Borelli, John.
OK, mate. Now, runners are at the barrier, are they, Wayne? Ah, we've lost him. OK. Oh, frustrating. Swiss Echo, 470. Cheverny, 550. Grampian, 610. Preferred Lies, $9. And Borelli at 9.10. We've got time to squeeze in a quick break before the Sky High Stakes. And a piece of end of line. As soon as Ian Craig commences his commentary, we'll pick up audio. Swiss Echo, well, you've seen the totes there, down to Preferred Lies, a Scott Seamer mount at $9.10. Well, the power failure hasn't deterred the enthusiasm of punters because $466,000 has been invested here on the Sky High Stakes. OK. Ian, not quite ready. Gay Waterhouse trained the winner of the Mannion Cup earlier, Manor Hill, and is represented here by the favourite Swiss Echo. Ian's ready now at Rosehill Gardens for the Sky High.
Giverny, 7 at 6:30 and 2:10, and that is Grampians. There's been plenty of drama out here with the council substation on course, catching on fire and burning out, and it has affected power in nearby suburbs. But through an auxiliary system, the meeting is able to go ahead. All races back one race. And here we go now. Just about set to run in the Sky High Stakes. The previous, a long time ago, went to Manor Hill. Set to run this time. They're off. And Giverny was smartest out. I don't think it's going to stay in the lead. Swiss Echo up hunting for the front with Able Way, Halls of Assembly and Gunnamatta. Steel Phoenix and Spirit of Westbury followed by Preferred Lies. Then Henderson Bay closely attended by Grampians. Restless second last and Borelli drops out last. As they race around the first corner, they've got 1,550 to go, and here the Victorian Gunnamatta takes up the role of pacemaker. Swiss Echo second and Spirit of Westbury third. Halls of Assembly next followed by Giverny. Preferred Lies going up wider out. Then comes the New Zealander Able Way from Steel Phoenix, Grampians, Restless, Borelli, and last in the field is Henderson Bay. Along the back of the track at the 1200, and the speed is rather dawdling, and the leader Gunnamatta from Spirit of Westbury with Swiss Echo third, and then Preferred Lies right out off the track, closely followed by Halls of Assembly. Midfield is Giverny, and then comes Steel Phoenix, followed by Able Way. Restless pulling its head off from Grampians, Henderson Bay, and Absolute Borelli as they come down the side of the course, and the leader is Gunnamatta. And Gunnamatta approaches the 800 with a break of a length and a half on Spirit of Westbury. Preferred Lies has covered a heap of additional ground. Swiss Echo the fence, and then Halls of Assembly, followed by Steel Phoenix out off the track, and then comes Giverny. Able Way, Restless covering a good deal of additional ground. 2 lengths to Grampians on the inside of Henderson Bay, and 3 lengths Borelli. Racing in this order to the home corner, and Gunnamatta. He's had the favours in the lead. The rider has been able to dictate Glenn Collis to suit himself. Around the corner comes Gunnamatta, a length on Spirit of Westbury challenging. Swiss Echo looking for the run between them, followed by Steel Phoenix. Restless joining in, and Giverny getting tightened up from Halls of Assembly. Grampians into the clear, and then Henderson Bay, but Restless hits the front now. Spirit of Westbury second, followed by Steel Phoenix, and then comes Grampians, but it's Restless the leader. Grampians won't get there, and Restless beat Grampians, Spirit of Westbury and Steel Phoenix in a photo for minors. Then Able Way, Halls of Assembly, Borelli, Giverny, followed by Henderson Bay, Swiss Echo. Gunnamatta gave in meekly, finished second last, and Preferred Lies, who covered a heap of additional ground, was last.
Good on you, Ian. Thank you. Restless the winner, 10.70 and 3.20. Larry Cassidy up. Photo second and third. High ratings coming up on race 7 at Flemington, and Regal Kiss is top rater ahead of St. Christoph, Accabilk and Libidinius. Market, St. Christoph 8.40, Accabilk $11, Suit 13, Bush Outlaw 14, Libidinius 3.80, Sir Talac 22, Regal Kiss favourite 2.40, Al Rico 98, Why Tell You